Well, hello everybody. Playing some Banner Saga and just winding down the weekend. Gonna go ahead and shut my office door so I don't wake my roommate. And yeah, it's actually been ages since I played this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And I was testing out something earlier for a friend, and this is the game I used, and now I really kind of want to play it. So yeah, gonna go and get started. You've never played this game before. Essentially, this is one of those games where every choice you make matters. So it's got a really unique morning, Elizabeth. It's got a really unique save system where you can't just like go back a save and make a different choice. You live with your decisions. The gods are dead in their wake. Man and giant survived through a tenuous alliance, driving back destroyers called Dredge deep into the northern wastes. Now is an era of growth and trade. Life goes on. Only one thing.
Just of the trade cities on the vile human borders, and our last collection before returning to the capital. Several days ago, the sun simply came to a stop in the sky. Though during these long winter days, none of us can be certain how long it has been this way. Some of the men in the caravan have taken it as a dire omen. I am not quick to superstition, but I myself will be glad to be done with this year's rounds. We have been warned by stranded travelers about brigands on the path through Ridgehorn, our road home. Our captain seems unconcerned. Perhaps he is as eager as I to be done here. We will rest here this day and inquire further when we speak to the governor.
I love the artwork in this game. It's very reminiscent of Ivan Darrell, who did the artwork for Sleeping Beauty. Also, let me know if the game is too loud. You've arrived just in time. The chieftain in red, and his men are now looking at a tougher fight than they bargained for. Drag around the screen to see your surroundings. Click the check mark to continue. Ooh. You can zoom in, zoom out. God, I love the artwork in this game. These portraits show the order of initiative, taking turns from left to right. Your allies are blue, the enemy is red. It's your turn to act. Movement happens before action. The ring shows your shield banger is active. The blue tiles around him show where he can move. Some characters fill more tiles than others, so essentially these Varl all take up 4 tiles. Humans take up just the 1. Good rule of thumb. The horned allies are a race of giants called Varl who take up 4 tiles. Yeah, okay, I just explained that. Click the tile you want to move to, and then click the check mark to confirm. Move your shield banger here to get him to attack. Get him into attack range. This game is actually on like pretty much every conceivable device you can play games on. So it's on Switch, PC, iPhone, Android, PS4, Xbox One. I've literally bought it everywhere. I love this game so much. To target an enemy, click on the tile on which they stand. Ally tiles are blue, the enemies are red. Target this enemy now by clicking this tile. You can choose to either attack the enemy's strength or break his armor. The numbers between each icon, 2 or 5, show the damage you will do to that stat. Strength counts as both health and damage. A loss of 2 strength means you'll now do 2 less damage. If strength falls to 0, the character falls in battle. Armor blocks strength damage, but can be reduced by a break attack. By breaking armor, you open them up to take more damage in the future. This enemy has only 5 strength remaining. A strength attack will kill him. Click the fist now to attack strength, and then, yep. He's down. Each time you make a kill, your renown grows, which is used later to improve your characters. Yeah, renown is kind of like a currency. After taking an action, your turn ends. Next up is the enemy. Turns always alternate, even if you are outnumbered. Despite being at full strength, the chieftain will do little damage against your shield banger's high armor. Now it's your Warhawk's turn. He appears to be both out of range of these enemies, but all characters can use willpower to boost their actions. Willpower is a limited resource, so use it wisely. By clicking the gold tiles, your character will move further than usual at the cost of 1 willpower per gold tile. Red pulsing tiles beneath your enemy show how close you have to get to be in range. Move your Warhawk into range now. Okay. And those 2 little stars above the movement show how many willpower it's using. And down here, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of small, I'm sure. It shows the actual willpower the character has. Standard attacks only affect a single enemy, but your Warhawk has a special ability that gives them a unique advantage. Click your Warhawk's tile to access ability. Clicking on your character's tile will bring up all of his combat options, including move, ability, attack, and end turn. Click the purple... Okay. This ability appears to... The ability description appears in the tooltips below. So Tempest strikes all adjacent enemies in a spin attack. Normal strength damage to 2 adjacent enemies going clockwise from target. So if I was surrounded, I would actually deal damage to everyone who was surrounding me. And abilities also take willpower. So, yeah. That made quick work of the Chieftain's bodyguards, where there is only 1 enemy left. Players enter pillage mode. During pillage, each character moves in order, and there are no more guaranteed turns. Check the initiative to see how the order has changed. Okay, so the enemy will go first, and then my 2 dudes will go. If the character does not move on his turn, he can regain 1. He can rest to regain willpower. So, looks like the chieftain is in trouble. Your shieldbanger won't be able to finish the job with normal attack, but willpower can be used to boost your damage. Yay!
Like a rabid wolf, that one. How did it come to this? We fool ourselves believing that peace will last. My grandfather built all this from a poor fishing village, you know. He watched the gods die, watched the chaos that followed, watched man and var slaughter each other, even before the dreads arose. All we've done is traded one struggle for another. Now that there are no more dreads to war against, we war against ourselves. This chieftain meant to kill me, and he's not the first. A dozen families in the city would gladly take my chair. This one had men waylaying merchants, both north and south of the city, strangling trade. Quite well, I would add, though he denied it to his lust. This sort of wolf doesn't stop biting because the head is cut off. It just grows a new head. I am in a bad way, my friend. Help me finish this fight, and I'll gladly send you on your way with double our king's tithe. Take any men you need. They're loyal, I promise you that. They will meet you down in the proving grounds.
Chapter 1, Only the Sun Has Stopped. God, I love this game. Just look at that artwork. It's all hand-drawn, by the way. Every single thing you see in this game is hand-drawn. You're approached by a familiar man who walks in step with you as you're leaving the Great Hall. He cuts to the chase. Eric, Steward Strand. I manage the governor's business. Ubin, isn't it? Okay, so I can choose. It is. I am just here for the tithe. What do you want? I'm going to be nice. I'll play nice, Ubin. It is. The governor tells me you'll be giving us a hand. Yes, Eric. So I could choose. Seems a bit chaotic around here, Eric. What did you have in mind? I didn't exactly agree. What did you have in mind? Scalpings that you didn't hack up in the Great Hall, scattered after you took out their chieftain. The governor just wants to make sure they stay down. Was hoping you could join me at the marketplace by the docks. If there's anyone left to worry about, I know who can tell us. What do you mean, nerd? Click the market tent to visit the merchant. Eric says, let me handle this. You meander through rows of open-face houses and eroded stalls. Colored canvases flap on a briny current. One man in particular blanches as you approach. Had, I'm not in the mood today, says Eric. Had, for what? Talking to an idiot, says Eric. Eric says, the Scalfing's chieftain bled out about an hour ago, Had. So when you tell me what rats anus the rest of them crawled back into, nobody's going to try to kill you this time. That's awesome. They don't talk to me. So I could step in as Ubin. I could say, Eric, need some help here? I don't have patience for this. Or say nothing. I don't have patience for this. Had sweats visibly, fumbling with some dirty trinkets on his table. Wait, just buy one of these. Everyone thinks I'm getting worked over every week. How am I supposed to know much? Just a little food money, yeah? I'll pay him. You toss a sliver of silver on the table. Both men look at you with surprise. Had gestures meekly to a variety of junk from his stall. Take whatever you like. Eric says, only thing I'd like is the name of a place. Nobleman up by the east wall. But that was months ago, last I know. Had skulks away with a wave of Eric's hand, gathering things from his hovel, disappearing for a while until this blows over, you figure. Your bodyguard steps forward. Gunnulf is his name. Are we done here? Gunnulf, you're wearing black? Were you wearing green back at the Great Hall? Yeah, he did change his clothes. Nope. Just bought them while you were walking around. Why? You look like a frog. No reason. They look good. What should I say, you guys? I'll let you vote now. Assuming anyone's like actually interacting. I want to say you look like a frog. One, you look like a frog? Okay, that's what I'll do. Better than an eggplant. That is true. My dude is wearing purple. Gunnulf goes off to look at more stalls. What I like about this game, too, is it makes it feel like you're playing like a D&D adventure, the way everything is laid out. The one thing I wish they would do is, and I think they fixed this with Banner Saga 2, was when people were talking, you didn't always know who was talking. It wouldn't change the camera. This was like this was made by a small indie studio, so I mean, they were working with what they had, and they built one of the best franchises to come out in the 2010s. So, Eric, that man of yours seemed unreliable at best. A blind dog wouldn't trust Had, but he used to be a Scalfing. If they're licking their wounds, they've probably gone to old haunts, not new ones. Nobleman is a mead hall, says Ubin. Best I can tell, the name's ironic. Listen, I know a guy who would love to put a few of these skulls in the ground. I'm going to find him. I'll meet you. Okay, so shouldn't we have an approach of some sort? Where is this place again? After this, I'm done here. I'm gonna choose one. What a luxury, says Eric. Come on, you've already mopped up worse today. Just make sure the governor remembers his promise, Ubin says. Double the usual tithe. I'll remind him, says Eric. I decided to have a drink. So I grabbed my ice sphere and my godfall cup, and I'm drinking the last of my 4 roses. You arrive in front of what must be the nobleman. A few minutes later, Eric appears with a weather-beaten man introduced as Valgard. I'll point them out, Eric says over his shoulder. Ready? We could go with, let's get it over with. You're walking through the front door? I'd rather sit this one out. Which one? Vote now. I really should have like some, if I'm going to do a series on this game, I should have like a thing that flashes on screen. Vote now with like some elevator music or something. Can we just, like I said, admire this artwork? This developer is actually one of my favorites to talk to. I first met them at E3 back in like 2013, 2014, when I was still freelancing. And I did an interview with Arnie, who's actually the guy who did all this artwork. He's the CEO of Stoic Studios, at least he was before. I don't know what they're doing now. And I handed him one of my business cards. And at the time, like I said, yeah, or Jeopardy music, that'd be good too. At the time, I was, like I said, a freelancer, so I didn't really have an outlet. So I had my own website on there. I had the ways you can get a hold of me. And I was trying to come up with something catchy when I made the business card. And since everything that I was doing, my website name, my Twitter handle, my email address, everything was Lord of the Rings themed, I tried to figure out some Lord of the Rings style thing I could throw on my business card. And so I put on the back of the card, because the idea behind these cards wasn't just to give them to devs, but also to give them to colleagues so they would hire me. So on the back of the card, I wrote Dunedain for hire. Dunedain in Lord of the Rings means Man of the West. It's what they called Aragorn himself. The Dunedain are all of them. The Dunedain is Aragorn. So I wrote Dunedain for hire, and he was the only one who got the reference. We had like in our interview, we had like a 5-minute discussion about it. It was pretty cool. I'm gonna go with 1, according to the chat. Let's get it over with. That's the spirit, says Valgard. Here we go. Valgard's boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. I actually did a really good interview with these guys for Playboy too, back in 2015. But I was dumb. I did not think Playboy would purge their site, so I never saved any of my work in like a PDF. I never went back and like copied the page as a PDF to prove that I wrote for them. And so when they dumped nudity a few years back, they also dumped their gaming section, and with it, all of the articles any of us wrote. So, only way you can find out that I wrote for them was with a Wayback Machine. Valgard boots the front door open so hard it won't close again without repair. As you enter the hall, Eric is already at the head of the table, his axe drawn. Wide-eyed, drunken Scalfings scramble to find their own weapons, turning tables and mead steins in the process. Yeah, I am going to be getting some official cards for not my new position. I've been doing it for the last year and a half, but, you know, it's full time now. And, I want to do something like that again. Okay, so obviously we have the frog now, Gunnulf. We've got... Nope, Ubin's not fighting. I don't know who this is. I don't know his name. He's just Shieldbanger. That's literally his name, just Shieldbanger. Then we've got Eric, and then we've got Valgard. He's got an ability, Shield Wall, +1 armor to adjacent tiles and self. That's his ability. Eric's is Light Step. He can move through allies. It also gives he can also give willpower to any allies in range, which can be kind of powerful later on. Gunnulf is the one who spins around, and this main guy doesn't have an ability himself. He just can counterattack. Now, what's cool too is depending on your ability, if these guys are stacked up like this and you hit them hard enough, you could actually knock one into the other one and deal some good damage. I'm not going to waste a willpower on the first attack, but I don't want to leave him too exposed because these guys could come around and flank. So I think I'm going to hit here and then just hold. Or stone wall, we'll do that. Yeah, so he's not going to do any damage. We'll flank. And then I can actually do more damage to him by hitting his strength, so we're just going to do that. I can actually hit him for 5, but we're not going to use the willpower right now. There is also friendly fire in this game. If you try playing it, just heads up, there is friendly fire. Which doesn't come into play too much right here, but it will when you start using magic and stuff. He is... Nice. The counterattack hit him for 1 armor. Cool, I can just kill him. Let's protect his back. End the turn. Thankfully, he's just hitting their armor. His armor's at 7. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're gonna use the 2 willpower there. Hit him for 7. Yeah, we can just kill him. Yeah, we'll kill him. I was hoping he would stay there, because then I could use the spin attack and more than likely kill them all, but that works too. Okay, so that's this one done. One of the things to keep in mind with this, too, is there is permadeath. So some of these characters can die in battle. Some of the characters can die out of battle, too, depending on the story and the decisions you make in the story. I have never been able to get to Banner Saga 2 with Gunnulf. Eric says, "There they are, gods be damned. I've got to go wash off the blood." Eric is looking out the hall's windows into the bay. A fleet of longship approach with sails of bold reds and blues. Ubin says, "One banner I know well, Vognir. Next for Val kinship. Last we spoke. The other flag looks important." Eric says, "Yeah, important guest. I see what I deal with all day long." Ah, that makes things make a little more sense. You hoped I'd have a stake in saying, "Everything's fine here," when the royal guest arrived. Eric says, "Not me, the governor. Now I have to make sure there are no rotting bodies or pools of entrails still in the Great Hall before they come by. Can I ask one more favor?" So I could say, "No, Eric, I've done enough already." Or, "What is it?" I don't think I've actually ever asked what the favor is, so I think I'm going to choose that. If you happen to stall our guests down on the docks, I wouldn't object. Maybe I will. Eric in Valgard, hustle from the meat house. To his credit, Eric tosses the barkeep a spar of silver for the mess. You give an apologetic shrug and go greet the new arrivals down at the docks. You should do that with your business cards, Elizabeth. Definitely, it definitely kept my name in Arnie's mind. Because when I interviewed him 2 years later, he remembered me based on that business card. Vognir. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. Sorry, I had to let that French horn resolve there. A familiar Varl steps onto the docks. In your mind, you recall a much younger version tramping through the halls of Grofheim, abundant in purpose. Gods, Ubin, you're looking ancient. Comes with being old. And if there's Vognir, there must be Hakon. Must there? Says Hakon. Still bleeding tributes from the poor and stupid, old yaks. At what age do you lose a sense of shame? Says Vognir. Jorundur demands it. I'll take that over lingering to death in Grofheim. Speaking of, I had no sense that you were so far from home. I just returned from Aberang, in fact. And glad for it, says Hakon. Hakon motions to the other ships in the bay, sails still fluttering, golden wolf head emblazoned on red. The king of men, or someone on his behalf. The king's whelp, says Hakon. This is weird. I don't understand. I guess that's his horn, but I don't understand why it cuts off here but not the horns. Vognir says, the king's son, Ludin. Don't you know, Scrivener? We visit his capital, he visits ours. That's how you make alliances these days. It's a miserable waste of time, Hakon says. Vognir, yes, Hakon has it. I'd almost forgotten. It's a good thing you're around, Hakon. Then you're going to Grofheim? Says Ubin. I have a distinct feeling I finished my business in Strand and was heading there myself. We should caravan. We should. Give it a day. In better circumstances, I'd drink a week away, but I'll let it just be done. Find me tomorrow at the gates, says Vognir. What he's trying to say is the prince is a delight to behold. Where is Mogr? Hakon, have him find a place to put up the warriors. I'm heading to meet the governor. A host of giants depart in his wake. You recognize a few, others are strangers to you. Guess I'm off to find Mogr. See you in the morning, Scrivener. I'll be along. He's called the Scrivener because he notates the histories as well. The young prince of men ambles from his ship. He brushes off his tunic, scanning the beach with low eyelids. Ludin looks for all the world the sort of a boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. It's a great description of somebody. Ludin looks for all the world the sort of boy who grew up pulling the legs from spiders. The long road back to Grofheim should be more interesting than most years, you think. Weariness suddenly settles in, and you chuckle to yourself about what an odd day it has been. One of the governor's men at the Great Hall could find you a place to sleep. On the other hand, if you're going to join Vognir's caravan tomorrow, it might not hurt to share a drink with Hakon, or introduce yourself to the prince they spoke so highly of. So I could talk to Hakon, I can talk to Ludin, or I could go straight to the Great Hall. I'm gonna go ahead and talk to these guys. Scrivener! You find Hakon in a mead house surrounded by other Varl. Strand is no stranger to Varl, but rarely sees this many. Hakon waves you over. I love this soundtrack. Went straight for a flagon? Vognir's the one who agreed to pass up a drink. I wasn't invited to the governor's hall anyway. You already missed the massacre, says Ubin. Every year I make the rounds, collecting taxes. Every year, it's the human settlements that give me trouble. Hakon says, no surprise. What this time? When I got here, the Great Hall was already full of bodies. We added a few more. Ha, humans. I guess if I only lived long as a yak's fart, I might be desperate to make something of myself too. It's not too late to start trying, Hakon. Wow, the shade. Hakon let slip a low chuckle. Any Varl could recount his deeds, known as he is for cutting a swath through the dredge at Vognir's side during the Second War, and regularly since then. Down here, I'm a glorified bodyguard. Hakon says, you might have a point. Just another reason to get back to Grofheim. Soon, I imagine, you say. You drink mead. You drink until the mead house becomes overbearing, then step back into the cool air outside. Let's go talk to Luden. Is this the right place? You find the prince at an inn. Guards blanket the building, including a sharp-eyed varl who must be working for Luden. A woman in red eventually waves you over and stands nearby, arms crossed. Greetings, Prince Luden. Yes? You're with Vognir? I don't remember you. Not exactly. I've known Vognir a long time. I'll be joining you back to Grufheim with my guards, you say. Luden looks up for the first time. The woman doesn't interact. Why? I work for the king, carrying tithes to the capital. We crossed by chance. Oh, a tax collector. Fine company, says Luden. What do you want? Okay, we have another choice. Just to introduce myself, I hope to learn more about you. I have a habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. Any suggestions, chat? Just gonna go ahead and sip my 4 roses here. I usually don't drink that straight. Usually I make it into old fashions, but I had like very little left in the bottle, and it's been like a year and a half since I actually finished a bottle of whiskey. So I figured, what the hell? Might as well finish one tonight. I'll give you chat a minute or two to catch up and decide what we should choose. Again, I could introduce myself. I hope to learn more about you, or the habit of recording history. I thought we might talk about your visit. Two or three? I think I'm going to go 3. You're stuck? I think I'm going to go 3. I think it might provide a little bit better reaction. A Varl historian? Aha, don't you already know? Your king and mine both have been practically trumpeting it throughout the cities. Ubin says, I've been on the road for a while, I'm afraid. Luden takes a deep sigh. Whether tired or ungracious, you aren't certain. Maybe both. A formality, mostly. Vognir came to our capital in Aberang, and now we go to the Varl's capital in Grufheim to cement this grand alliance for the next age of men and Varl. You sound unconvinced, says Ubin. There's no need for it, and it's damned cold up here. You get the sense he's struggling not to complain outright. You take the opportunity to excuse yourself. I would too. Okay, we'll go to the Great Hall now. So I guess I should take a second to explain this thing here at the top. So, you know what? I think it's going to explain it a little bit better, just in case I forget something. The supplies, though, are huge, because if you run out of supplies, people start starving. This is like essentially D&D meets Ragnarok meets the Oregon Trail. I don't think anyone dies of dysentery, but you never know. At dawn, you're awoken by a delivery of goods. At least you think it's dawn. Damn hard to tell with the sun that never moves. The governor's crest adorns the supply leathers. All there, just as promised. To your mild surprise, you wonder if Eric had anything to do with that. Plus 20 renown. Okay, so this up here is the renown. Your guards take the treasure wagon down to the gates. Vognir is already there. A while later, Luden and his men appear, groggy and disheveled. Mulgate steps forward. Vognir's quartermaster, if you recall correctly, in charge of his unwieldy entourage of warriors. You know him only in passing. He asks if you're ready to depart. We are ready. You follow Mogir and join the others. Usually, the smaller doors set into the gate would be enough to enter or leave the city. Those are called postern gates, by the way. But the town guards have been told to push them open entirely. They mutter things under their breath that are best not heard. Perhaps the governor expected you to draw a crowd. But there's nothing of the sort. Just frustrated, tired people. It summarizes Strand well as a whole, you think. Dim drums, though. So yeah, this is what I meant by it's D&D mixed with the Oregon Trail. Now we're moving to the next city. Looking at these beautiful landscapes Arne Jorgensen drew. I actually really wanted to get a print of his art for my wall here in my office, and I might still do it. The next city on our list is Vetterfell. The caravan stops for the day. A gift, says Molgir, cracking open mead casks from our gracious friend, the governor of Strand. Hours pass with raucous laughter as the mead is passed throughout the camp. I could either drink a little, I could drink a lot, or I could toast to Vognir. I think I'm gonna drink a little. You go easy. You've nothing against a good drink, but if anyone is gonna keep an eye on things, it may as well be you. The revelers eventually fall asleep without incident. So it's those kind of choices that if you make one, something bad could happen, and that's just how the game works. But you can't like make a choice, not be happy with the outcome, and then go back, because that's not how the save system works in this game. It really is set up to where you are stuck, and you have to live with your choices. Your choices all have consequence, and it's one of the most unique things about this game. In fact, that was what my whole interview with Playboy was about. I've got to find a way to get that interview again. You rise groggily, the campsite a casualty of merriment. Molgir is already kicking warriors awake when you spot Ludin stalking in your direction. He sidesteps sleeping bodies. Better wake up, you nudge Vognir. You're needed. Ah, Ludin, always a pleasure. You look well rested. Vognir releases a caged yawn and receives a hard-eyed stare in return. How long to Grofheim? Ha, we're only 2 days out of Strand, you know. Come, I'll show you on a map. This is the map of the world. You can explore it by dragging the mouse to pan and using the mouse wheel to zoom. So this is Grofheim, this is where we're going. This is where we are now. So, I mean, we've got these roads to follow. All the way up to Grofheim. I love the detail on this map. It reminds me of like a Lord of the Rings map and the kind of map you would see in like an Icelandic Viking epic. Which makes sense. I mean, this is based entirely almost on Viking Ragnarok. Location of your caravan is indicated by Ubin's icon. The world map is covered with many locations and holds much lore. You can explore the map at any time, clicking on locations for more information. So yeah, we can click on Grofheim. That was the two spears. I wanted Grofheim. Grofheim, the last home of the Varl and seat of their power, founded by Arfinir, the second Varl king. Though the Varl have moved around a lot, most consider Grofheim their capital. The deeds of Varl are honored here, and all warriors of worth are buried at the foot of the two spears, where they are said to become part of the Varl's march itself. Yeah, I love this. We head north, then east past the forts. Grofheim's far from Strand, going to be a long march. You should have drank last night, Ludin. Why not take the ships to Skyrim? Skyrimstir. Skyrimirstead. What's the point of marching? I can speak, guys. No, it's not Skyrim, it's Skrymir. Skrymirstead. I just read that as Skyrim because it had all the same letters. The Silverstone Bay is called that for a reason, Ubin says. It stays covered in ice all year. It would tear up the longships. Vognir says, too bad though. We could have shown you all the wonders of Skrymirstead. A half-sunken city crawling with dredge, Prince. Dredge and glaciers. Do you like glaciers? Ludin exhales through his nose, a poor disguise for his contempt. He turns and bats aside the tent flaps as he goes, barking at his company in the distance. Ubin, don't poke the anthill, Vognir. He seems no happier to be here than you. Vognir says, spend a few more days with the boy, old friend. You'll be looking for a tall cliff to hop off to. Vognir says, Ludin's got a shorter wick than Hakon. Thanks, Vognir. Let's get moving. Another half day to Vederfjell if we're lucky. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I will be right back. Since we're set up in camp anyway, we're not moving, so it's one of the safer places to save and do all that good stuff. I shall return in un moment. Oh, it was just a... It wasn't a long break, Elizabeth, don't worry. So yeah, this is where you manage the caravan. I'm back, by the way. During travel, you can enter camp at any time by tapping the camp icon button on the travel HUD. While at camp or in towns, you can upgrade your allies or equip items in the hero's tent. You pass time by using the rest tent. Resting will improve your caravan's morale. High morale will reduce casualties in war and affect your willpower in combat. Each passing day will use supplies, so only rest when necessary. The training tent will allow you to safely try out any characters in a mock battle. Tap leave at the bottom of the campsite when you're ready to get back on the road. So let's go to the hero's tent, see if I can upgrade my dudes at all. Looks like I can. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to... I forgot what each one of these did. Okay. So I think I'm going to increase his strength. Can I? Oh, 0 points available. Okay. I guess that was the level. I thought it was continue. Yes, I want to promote for 5 renown. There we go. That's how we do it. I remember now. I don't have any items, it looks like. Oh, I have another point I can give. Let's build that up too, because that'll come into play, especially when we start fighting some other enemies later on. It's the morale. Great morale right now. We've got 66 days of supplies. I think we are 2 days till what? 2 days to the next city. It's 2 days we've been on the road. That's what it is. So yeah, we're heading to Bradford.
Even the name means bad weather, where frozen wind sweeps in from the bay. They tend livestock, but most are just men driven from Strand with nowhere else to go. Why else would anyone stay? We won't stop long.
Peasant, by Hardeberg, that's a lot of varl for some missing cattle, says the peasant. What? Says Mogir. A couple days back, sent word to Strand about the cattle. Didn't expect an army. He looks pleased with himself, until it sinks in that you aren't here on his behalf. Where have your cattle gone? Says Vognir. Wouldn't know. My boy's seen men up on the hills carrying them away. Don't know any men who can hoist a whole cow by himself. Scalfings out here, maybe? Could they have a varl working for them? Not from what the governor told me, says Vognir. I'm going to take a look around and get camp set up. The peasant spits, his eyes anxiously darting about the caravan as the caravan sets up tents. We'll be here no more than a day. The silver for any food you've got, says Mogir. For hundreds of varl? Are you serious? Says the peasant. Whatever you're willing to sell. You thinking of squatting? Not enough room for a couple hundred hunters. Forget hundreds of... Shut up! Hear that? Where's Ludin? Says Hakon. It's faint. Sounds like fighting and something else. Hakon takes off at a run. I think I'm gonna sit down. Clicking any tile will automatically make a path, but you can also set waypoints. Click once to make a waypoint. Now select the next waypoint. This is often useful when you need to avoid certain tiles. I'll confirm here. Spearmen can attack diagonally and up to 2 tiles away. Click the banner. Click the top right banner to compare your stats with the enemies. Oh, that banner. Okay, so yeah, that puts all the stats on the battlefield. Now click the enemy to target. Armor blocks attacks on strength. For each enemy armor higher than your strength, there's a 10% chance the attack will be deflected. Notice the chance to hit shown above the attack button. Attack this enemy's strength. Deflected. Deflected attacks do no damage. From here on out, you will fail catastrophically if you don't break armor. Damaging both strength and armor is equally important. Ah, fuck. Ludin just got boned. So let's knock out 4 of his armor. Forgot we met the dredge this early. Okay, he can actually hit the person. That's actually kind of cool. No! Oops, I actually didn't mean to do that. Breaks an enemy's armor and pushes enemies for retaliating. I think we'll just attack his armor. Oh, it's about equal. We'll hit his armor. So we'll do more damage next time. Oh, God. Seriously? They are just trying to kill Gunnulf. Can't have that. Or gonna try not to have that. Yep, no, they're just gonna come up and kill him. Yeah, so since his strength has gone down, his attack power has gone down too. So, well, I'm not going to move him out of the way. I think he's just going to be incapacitated for a round. Nope, they're hitting him now. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, yeah, so Gunnulf is gonna go down. I hate that Gunnulf got incapacitated. I don't think he's dead, but I think if he dies in another battle, he might be. Yeah, he's just been injured. Okay, good. Are you trying to get yourself killed, Ludin? What are you doing? I was trying to get a shot in between the plates, says Ludin. You've never seen a dredge before, boy? What kind of idiot? Break their armor first. Where did they come from? Says Reuben. We didn't even see them. They were just there. Hakon goes to where Vognir lies face down. The future Varl king lies motionless, aside from a spreading pool of blood. Vognir's dead, says Hakon. Chapter 2. Cut with keen-edged sword. Valkajökull, Grofheim, Frostfeller. Rook. Where did that thing come from? Alette says. Shh, stay close, says Rook. I think it saw us. Deployment happens before battle. Click your units, Rook and Alette, to deploy them within the blue squares. Click ready to start the battle. I'll just keep them there. Be careful, don't get too close. Sound advice, Rook. Okay, so she can't attack right now either. Yep, she can't attack right now. Too far away. Ugh. He's just gonna keep battering Rook. Of course, their bows are, you know, not the best against these armor-plated dredge. Nice thing is, once I can break through this armor, should actually make it a little easier to do some damage to him. Just clocked him in the face with that axe. Go, Rook. Alette, what's that? A dredge? Alette looks calm, but you can tell her heart is about to beat right out of her chest. Rook, it was. Let me see, are you hurt? No, I'll be fine. The dredge attacked your cart and the ox bolted. It spilled most of your supplies. You can see more dark figures moving through the trees when you glance in that direction. All that food. That's the last we were going to get before winter. What do we do? Says Alette. Don't run. Let me think. Okay, so I can say, forget the supplies. Let's get back to Skolgr. Skolgr. If we hurry, we can gather them before more dredge appear. Do you think you can handle more of them? Wow. We're not gonna... That makes it sound like we're gonna leave Alette to fight them on our own. I'm thinking we're just gonna go back to Skolgr. Skolgr. Skolgr? I think it's Skolgr. If my Duolingo Icelandic lessons have taught me anything. I think we're going to forget the supplies unless y'all have anything different. Okay, I think I'm just going to choose number 1 since I haven't seen anything pop up in chat yet. I don't know what kind of delay we're on though, but... Okay, what are they even doing here? This is Alette. No clue, but we need to warn everyone right now. Supplies. Supplies represent food and other goods used to keep everyone alive on the road. When supplies are gone, people will start to die of starvation. The more people in the caravan, the faster the supplies will diminish. You can see how many days of supplies you have left on the travel display at the top of the screen. Most towns will have supplies to sell, as well as a few items. So my tiny caravan, this thing right here, have about 2 days left. You're okay. Don't need to apologize. I'm glad the Riesling was good. That's what I used to make the risotto tonight, was a Riesling. I almost bought the same brand I got you for your birthday.
I never expected to see the dredge with my own eyes. What happened in the north? Already we see more between the trees as we approach our home, and Alette grips my hand tight. We must find Ivor.
Someday I want to be as creative as these guys and make a game like this. Someday. Ivor, Rook says. The enormous varl in question towers over the men in the training field. He squints as you approach. Already back, Huntmaster. I thought you'd be tomorrow. Dredge, everywhere, says Alette. Dredge, how did they get through Greyhorn? Must have broken the fort. Through the fort, Rook says. Yeah, this weird cutoff is weird. I don't remember this ever happening. It's gotta be a bug. The fighters nearby have stopped sparring. They gather around you. Damn it. They'll be here soon, if not already. You hear screams. From the outskirts, people are running toward the Great Hall. Ivor turns to one of the older boys in his group of fighters. Egil, take Alette to the Great Hall. Tell the chieftain what's happening. The rest of you gather up as many people as you can. Come on, Alette, says Egil. No, wait. I want to help. I'm going to choose... Well, okay, we can either make them go with Egil, Alette, or we can let them fight Ivor. God, this bug is distracting me. The art in this game is fantastic. Like I was saying earlier, it's heavily inspired by Ivan Earl, the guy who did the artwork for old Disney movies like Snow White. Specifically, Snow White is one of the major ones. In fact, there's the artist was such a influence on Arne Jorgensen's design for this game that there's a character named Ivan in the game as a nod to him. Should we let them fight? Or let them go with Egil? Well, okay, so I'm thinking we're fighting Dredge, if I remember correctly. And I'm going to want everyone, so I'm going to let them fight. This may turn out very poorly. It may be great, but that's the beauty of this game is, you live with all your choices. So... Let them come. This has that feeling, let them come. There is one dwarf yet in Moria who still draws breath. It's got that kind of feel to it. Yeah, we're gonna let them fight. Why not invite some goats to join us too? You're asking for dead kids. Wow, Ivor. I won't let anything happen to her, Egil says. They'll have to deal with it sooner or later, Ivor. What now? Egil, keep your shield up. We just hold them off until everyone's inside, then we figure out what to do next. More shouts draw your attention to some houses atop a nearby hill. Oh, yeah, so you can see the dredge in the foreground here. There is something going on with this art, and I wonder if it has to do with the resolution. I've never played this game in 4K. But it's not like a game that I can change the resolution on. Sure enough, dredge are gathering in number. Fear threatens to bubble over into panic. How long do we need to keep this up, you ask? Ivor shakes his head unknowingly. That's a bad sign. That just reminds me of South Park. You're gonna have a bad time. Turn order. Units move in the order you place them, from left to right. This initiative order is very important when setting up strategies. For example, put archers after melee units so that they can stay safe behind your heavy hitters. Drag unit icons to arrange the turn order. So yeah, we're definitely going to do that. So yeah, Alette is pure range, whereas Rook at least has the one, He's melee as well. Egil is definitely melee, and so is Ivor. Ready for battle. Your face. Well, alright. Okay, definitely gonna move her off the front. Gonna put him in front of her. Kind of doing the same thing here with Rook. And I'll put Egil in front. One with the shield looks like trouble, says Rook. Adoy, let me handle him, says Ivor the Varl. What is his? Okay, battering ram knocks the target back through multiple tiles, doing armor break damage. Yeah, so that's the skill I was thinking about. That when you have the enemies lined up like that, you can knock them into each other. Also, Alet's thread the needle will hit any unit in the straight line. No, I want to keep him facing the lead guy. Getting tongue-tied with Japanese, you see. Okay, so he's got the shield wall, which will block attack and dart armor damage for 1 round. I want to start tearing down this guy's armor, though. And I can try... Nope, okay. I was gonna say, I can try to stack Rook with him. And it looks like I can still hit him from here with my bow. Is it going for Rook or Egil? Egil. So I could kill this guy, or I could start... Yeah, I think we're just going to keep chipping away at him, because he's going to be the major threat. Thankfully, he just knocked out the armor of his own dude. But he also knocked him into Alet. No! 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 Let's get him back over here. Knock him a few paces away. Oh, god dang it. So they're going after Egil now. And I think what I'm going to have to do with Egil is start using that shield wall just to keep him alive. And of course, I think we're going to lose Ivar to this fight. Pretty sure I have this on the hardest difficulty, which isn't helping. Okay. Let's get over here. And we'll stone. And we can start chipping away at his health finally, because we've got his armor down there. Give him a willpower. I want him staying here to offer this guard bonus to Rook. Yeah, we'll do this shield wall again one more time. So, yeah, Rook can kill him. Victory, the foes lie dead. Okay, that went by quickly. Here's the downside. If the dudes... That's how you're always supposed to play video games. Yeah. If the dudes fall, they get injured in battle, I don't think they get any experience. Which sucks. Well, so experience in this game works weird. You don't get experience points. You level up based on the amount of kills you can your character racks up. So yeah, use the options when you change the difficulty is what it's telling me here. Victory! A black horde is forming at the tree line. Enough of this, says Ivar, glancing over his shoulder. We are going back. Then adds, Rook, I'm doing one more check on the houses around here. See if you find anyone. I'm gonna keep watch. As you turn to head back, a colossus appears around the side of a house. It silently looms over Alette, its face an expressionless stony mask, more terrifying than any roar it may have produced. Time seems to slow as it pulls back its enormous mace. So I can shout at Alette to get out of the way. Shoot it with an arrow. Or run at it axe ready. I'm trying to figure out where the stream is based on where I'm at right now. And yeah, I get how can you gain experience if you're dead, but then I remembered this game doesn't use experience points. It's based on the amount of kills that character gets in battle. So I think if I run out of axe ready, I enter another battle sequence with the Colossus. And since Alette's injured, I don't think she participates in said battle. But being a Dayad, I feel like I would run at it axe ready. You launch yourself and Alette turns towards you with confusion on her face. Then she looks behind her and freezes in her tracks. The dredge is too far to reach in time. Shite. Suddenly, Egil is between the dredge and Alette, his shield above him. The black stone mace falls, Egil's shield crumples, and so does the boy beneath it. A moment later, Ivar is there, his sword run through the neck of the dredge. He's gone, says Ivar, looking over the boy's shattered skull. Alette gasps, her hands to her mouth. I'm checking the other houses. Ivar remarks, see if you can find anyone and then meet me at the Great Hall. Poor Egil. So, Renown is spent not just to level up your characters, but it's literally your currency in this game. So you have to balance that too. You only get so much Renown because there are only so many battles you can fight. So you have to balance leveling up your character with whether or not you need supplies, or you want to buy new items. 1 renown gets 3 days worth of supplies. So we got 26 days of supplies. We'll go talk to Ivor. You find anyone? Rook asks. A few. Sent them inside. Gods, this is bad. About Gil. It was my fault. He was a good fighter for his age. No family. I thought... I've forgotten what it's like facing Dredge. I'm out of practice, Rook. Look, as long as I've known you, you've always wormed your way out of talking about Dredge. This would be the time to start talking. I would think so. I can tell you they rarely stop for rest. The sooner we leave, the better. They'll follow us until we're tripping over tired women and children. Then they'll attack. Even after we're wiped out, they'll keep coming, trampling corpses in their wake. There's no end to them. How did anyone survive the Great Wars? Ask the Menders. I wasn't there, says Ivor. But I know you fought your fair share. Yeah, I've killed enough slag for one lifetime. That's why you're going to save us now, says Rook. Don't lay that on me. That just reminds me of that scene in Talladega Nights. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't lay that on me. Come inside. Come on, let's get inside. Pardon me, whilst I do a diabetic thing. Rook, thank the gods you've made it. The great hall is an utter din, filled as it is with dozens of terrified families. Don't stop worrying yet, says Rook. I haven't. What in the depths is going on? Dredge milling around, ransacking houses? The chieftain's wife finds you, pushing through the crowd. Oddleif. They must know we're here. Why haven't they attacked? That's her name, Oddleif. I don't know. I wouldn't expect it to last, says Ivor. I've made some decisions, but tell me straight. What would you both do in my place? Asked the chieftain. I'd have left by now, Ivor says. They're already outside the doors. Not so easily done, Rook. So, I can either side with Ivor, I trust Ivor on this, or say it's not a decision I care to make, or say we can hold out. What shall it be, Chittery Chat? That is my blood sugar like right now. Lower than I expected. It's good considering I've had effectively 2 glasses of whiskey. So yeah, should we trust Ivor? Should we say it's not a decision we care to make? Or should we tell the chieftain we think we can hold out in this fight? It's also such a very awkward way for Ivor to be holding his sword. Its blade facing upwards like that. I'll give it another 5 to 10 seconds and then I'll choose if I don't see anything in the chat. It says there's about 5 to 6 people out there watching, so... I'm gonna say it's not a decision I care to make. The chieftain sighs a deep and heavy breath, slumping. He looks years older. I imagined us fighting back and saving the town, but nonsense. Ivor's right, of course. We can't just wait to be slaughtered. Where do we go, if the Dredge are coming down from the north? Frostfella, to the west. It's close and it has walls. I intend to be free of Skoger in one push, nobody left behind. I wouldn't. If they follow us, we're done, says Ivor. What do you suggest? Says Oddleif. Let me create a distraction, then go. I'll catch up on the road to Frostfeller. Okay, so another choice presented to us. That sounds like suicide, Ivor. Let's do as the chieftain says. Ivor's right. I'll help with the distraction. What if we set the town on fire as we left? Do we abandon the storehouse? Dum, 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 dum. That's a good question. Do we abandon the storehouse? Because, you know, supplies and all that. Oh, I just realized their eyes are moving. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. Their eyes move. Like, I know they've blinked. I don't think I ever noticed their eye moved back and forth, like they're looking at each other. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna ask that. Do we abandon the storehouse? If we have to, we'd be leaving behind everything but the supplies you brought, Rook, says the chieftain. On the other hand, Frostfeller's at least a week away. I'm not sure we've got that much food. I bought supplies because I was smart. It'll be cutting it close, says Oddleif. If we're saddled with heavy carts, it'll be almost impossible to outpace the dredge, says Ivor. And if we run out of food before we get to Frostfeller, it won't matter how many escape. Rook puts in. I still say, let me handle the dredge, says Ivor. So, we can do, let's just get out of here like the chief suggested. Ivor usually knows what he's talking about. I'll join him. Or we can't afford to leave the food behind. What shall we choose? Chit. Should we choose to try to save the food? Or should we join Ivor in his battle? Or should we just say all of us need to get out of here? Look at them horns, though. Them some big horns. I'm gonna probably choose 2 if nobody pipes in the next few seconds, which is Ivor usually knows what he's doing. I'll join him because I think we have enough supplies. He said we only need enough for a week, and we've got 26 days since I bought supplies at the market. But I'm afraid if we say let's all just get out of here like the chieftain suggested, we may lose some warriors, which will help us in certain not quick time events, but events that happen on the road. The chieftain thinks for a long moment. I didn't ask for advice just to ignore it. Promise you're not throwing away your lives on this? That wasn't part of my plan, Ivor. Nope. All I could think of just now was Lana. Nope. Then I'm coming with you, Oddleif says. This catches you by surprise. The chieftain rubs his chin, but doesn't argue. From the training she's given Alette, you've no doubt she can handle a bow. Oddleif is actually one of my favorite characters in this entire game. Fine, I'll get the townspeople ready. Make your move, Ivor. We'll leave when you're clear. Alette finds you before you have a chance to find her. I know what you're doing. You have to let me come with you. Don't leave me. Please, I'll be good. Okay, this is another one of those, should we let Alette join us or no? Okay, Alette, just promise to listen. Not this time, it's too dangerous. We're gonna let her come. I promise, she says. Ivor finds you both. Let's go. Remember, we're not trying to fight them all. We're just getting their attention. You step into the town courtyard, where you can already see the dredge in every direction. Ivor starts banging on his shield and swearing at them. We'll kill a few, he shouts, and the rest will follow. You steel yourself for a tough fight. One or more of your units are injured. Injured units can still fight, but have a penalty to max strength equal to the number of days wounded. They heal as time passes when resting in camp. Let's promote Rook real quick. And we'll give everything to armor break because we need that maxed out when we're fighting these dredge. Oh shit, we can promote him again. Improve your ability. I don't have enough renown though. Damn it. Okay. So Ivor and Alette are going to be penalized in this fight, which is no bueno. Yeah, Rook will just have to be front lines with this one. And I want Ivor to start heading over to the big guy. Yes! He's just going straight for strength. I can't hit him from here. Well, poop. I was hoping I could. He's just going straight for strength too. Holy balls. Then again, she had a strength penalty because of the injury, so I'm not shocked. They're just gonna go all in on Rook, I guess. Nope, let's knock down the big guy just a little bit more, because it'll be easier to kill him with the other guys. Going for Odelay. Kill with one hit. That sucks. What is his attack? Scourge uses his weapon to summon an ally to the... Oh, that's... What is Ivor's special? It's the knockback. Yeah, let's just kill this guy. If only I had like one extra strength, I probably could have dealt enough damage to kill him with that. Okay, gotta get Rook out of danger. We don't want him having to rest too. try to block him from being able to walk up the rook now. Bam! There we go. Too bad we lost Alette Oddleif in that fight. You bumped your video, so you missed a few minutes. It's okay. I only want another fight. That's all. What the balls? I had 26 days of supplies. You have no problem getting the dredge to follow. Things begin to look dicey when you're eventually able to lose them in the thick woods. But you're eventually able to lose them in the thick woods where they have difficulty keeping up. You climb to an overlook and wait for the caravan to appear. An hour later, Oddleif is the first to spot them. There, she points to the road. As you rejoin them, you can tell there was trouble. Some people wounded, others missing. A group has gathered at the rear of the caravan. Oddleif walks beside a covered figure in the open wagon. Old fool, she says through clenched teeth. I should have stayed with him. The chieftain's death hits you like a blow to the gut. You continue on to Frostveller in silence, Alette's hand firmly in your own. Pausing to catch your breath, you glance backward to see the caravan stretched out past the point of safety. They're spaced out so far, you're unable to see those bringing up the rear. We've got to pull them together, says Ivor. It'd be dangerous to stop until at least the Godstone. The path should be just ahead. So I can call for an early stop for the day, which Ivor is saying we probably shouldn't. Slow the pace, everyone can catch up. Keep a steady pace, or rally the caravan with a speech. I'm going to try to rally the caravan. You make your way to the rear and hoist a small child onto your shoulders. Fight for every step. Remember those who didn't make it and push onwards. The clansmen see your effort and follow suit, pushing themselves harder. Morale improved, you guys. +5 renown, you guys. -4 supplies. Here's the Godstone. Look at that artwork. Holy crap, it's so good. Far enough for today, I think, Ivor says. After a day of misery, men and women dropped their meager possessions beneath the Godstone of Hridvaldir. What are we doing? We just left our homes because suddenly there were dredge. Chieftain did what I suggested, and look what he got for it. Look at these people. Someone has to hold them together, Rook says. That's you, Rook, says Ivor. So, okay. How am I supposed to do that? What do we do if we run into more dredge? Or, but you're the dredge killer around here. How am I supposed to do that? I like an insecure Rook. I think Rook would be insecure about his ability to lead. How am I supposed to do that? I like that response though, but you're the dredge killer around here. He's not wrong. At all. Like at all. Not wrong at all. What to do? What to do? I'm gonna say, but you're the dredge killer around here. Yeah, Varl. They went to listen to someone who looks like them. Okay, fair point. What about Oddleif? Let her, if that's easier for you, says Ivor. What if we run into more dredge? What am I supposed to do anyway? lie, tell them everything's going to be alright? Gods, Rook, I don't know, says Ivor. Pretend you know what you're doing. That's what the rest of us do. Thanks for the advice, Rook says. I imagine that's probably very sarcastic. It's a very sarcastic thanks. Then do whatever you want. Let them fend for themselves if you can live for it, says Ivor. You humans are absurd, Rook. Furious when you're not in control, terrified when you are. Pull it together, says Ivor. I can say I'm worried about Alette mostly. You're right. What if we run into more Dredge? I'm going to say I'm worried about Alette mostly, because that's something that I would probably be thinking. Keep her close, says Ivor. You do care. I can tell, says Rook. Feh. Men are a plague on this world. Worse than any Dredge, as far as I can tell, says Ivor. Chats like this are why we get along so well, Ivor, says Rook. You slept poorly. The sun forever stuck to an eternally bright sky. Before the others rise, you find yourself staring over long, low hills covered in pine. The Godstone looms overhead, the massive eyes of Hridvaldir looking the same direction as you. Inspect the stone. The weathered stone doesn't see many visitors. Not much reason to travel so far east. When hunters come through, they sometimes stop to give offerings, out of habit more than anything else now that the gods are dead. Hridvaldir was the god of the hunters and of wild beasts, occasionally seen roaming the land as both man and wolf. He was always depicted in effigy with his terrible spear. You wonder what he'd think about his woods being full of Dredge now. A young girl from the caravan approaches you. I made this for you, she says, handing you a crude necklace carved from a branch she must have found nearby. Thanks for saving my mama, she says before running back to her tent. Back at your tent, you rouse Alette, who clings to your arm until she's completely awake. Bad dreams. Eventually the camp is broken down, and it's time to move on to Frostfeller. It feels like an end more than a start. The caravan halts when a group of men appear on the trail, weapons at their feet. We've seen the Dredge in your wake, says one. We don't wish to meet them alone. If you let us join you, we'll show you a watering hole with enough animals to fill those supply wagons. An inherent fear of strangers raises mutters from the caravan. So, this is one of the first big decisions we can make. Well, aside from the one that got Egil killed, I guess. We can allow the men to join us. What are you doing out here alone? As we can ask them the question, or we can refuse them and make sure they don't follow. Wonder what we should choose. Oh, excuse me. On one hand, if we let them join us, we'll get more fighters and more clansmen, which helps. Though the caravan itself seems to be a bit on edge about these men just randomly appearing. And we do have morale to think about in terms of the caravan's morale. More people, though, means more supplies being used, which may make it so that we run out of supplies before we get to Frostfeller. What should we choose, chat? I'm waiting to see if there's a response in the chat for a minute. And then I'll choose if there's not. Okay, I'm gonna ask what they're doing out here alone. We were hunting for food when the dredge found our village, says the man. When we returned, he looks away, unable to finish. So we still have the decision. We can either allow them to join us or we can turn them away. I think I'm gonna allow them, unless chat says otherwise. But I'm not seeing anything in chat, so... If you'll be no trouble, come along, you say. The men cautiously join your ranks and prove trustworthy. The hidden watering hole nearby is teeming with animals, and soon your supplies are nicely restocked. Yay! Plus 12 fighters, more supplies, 5 renown. Fantiferic. Morale decline. During the rest, one of the men get too drunk and end up splashing mead in a warrior's face. A brawl erupts. Many thrown fists and a broken bone later, the instigator, Raffensvartir, is tossed on the ground at your feet, angry clansman looking for satisfaction. His personal defense is little more than drooling mumbles. So we can either coerce a public apology out of him, tie him up until he draws out, laugh off the scruffle, or encourage the others to drop the issue. I don't think the issue should be dropped, just because he's drunk, especially right now. Not with all the dredge aboot. Raffensvartir. I think we're going to tie him up till he dries out. You grab a rope from the supplies and make short work of the sot. A few onlookers throw scraps at him, but most just walk away with a laugh, at least content that some measure has been taken. The caravan is visibly relieved to find a small village on the way to Frostfeather, with beds and fresh supplies. The locals here are shocked by the news you bring and discuss it amongst themselves while you set up nearby. Yeah, definitely need to rest. We've got some battered heroes. Thankfully, Alette's not injured anymore. We can promote Ivor. And I think we can promote Rook again. Yep. And I think I'm going to give him a necklace. 15% dodge and strength. It's a crude medallion made from the branch of a tree found above the godstone Hridvaldir, carved with a curious rune. Yeah, we're going to do that. And I think we're going to rest for 2 days so that Ivor can get back to full health. So we've got supplies. I think we can buy more. Yeah, 1 renown gets 3 supplies. I think we're using 4 supplies a day. Yeah, so day's worth 9. Okay, so that helps. Okay. We'll skedaddle. You're only just outside the village when 2 men in red approach. My name is Hogun, says one, gesturing to the other. My brother is Mogun. Many from the village wish to join you to Frostfiller. A third man, exuding rage, charges up to the group. Shut your mouth, Hogun, he screams. Dum, dum, dum. Rook, what is going on? Town leader, these bastards don't speak for us. They've been trying to divide the village since you got here. True. You can keep whoever wants to stay and die, says Hogun. The rest of us will go with the reasonable people of Skogir. Skogir. I'll have you both gutted before I let half the village desert, says the town leader. Behind the angry villager, a mob of armed thugs have appeared, all furrowed brows and nervous stares. You both know what will happen to the rest of us. If the fields are abandoned, nobody leaves. So, here's the deal. I can tell them there won't be anything to tend to once the dredge arrive. I can let the people decide on their own. I can say I don't want anything to do with this, or I can simply say nothing. What would y'all choose? I think because this is a different village, I shouldn't get involved. I could tell them to let the people decide on their own, but that would be me getting involved. I could tell them. This is hard. Yes, it is. Welcome to the Banner Saga. I could tell them that there won't be anything to tend to once the dredge arrive. I could just say nothing. What shall I choose? That is the question. 3? I don't want anything to do with this? Okay, we'll do that. That's usually how it goes, says Hogun. You step back as one of the thugs lunges forward and is caught in the ribs by Hogun's axe. The air soon rings with the sounds of screams and axe heads against shields. 4 men... You type 4 furiously. 4 men lie on the ground before the others run. You hurt Mogun? No, we should have done that years ago, says Mogun. Nah, can't go around killing for no good reason. This was a good reason. You're so confused. The brothers head back into the village, and soon many of the villagers have joined your caravan. Hogun introduces you to his young son and wife, all grins, unconcerned about the fact that you never agreed to let them come. You don't bother arguing. Before long, you set out again. I was going to say, did I get supplies at least? Alette marches quietly along the caravan, a little distant since leaving the village. When you stop for a rest, Oddleif approaches you both. You should. This entire freaking series is amazing. Alette, I have something for you, says Oddleif. Oddleif has gathered up the long banner from the caravan and smiles warmly as she passes it to Alette. What's this about? Says Rook. I was hoping you'd sew up the banner with everything that has happened since we left Skogir. Come find me another time, Rook, and we'll talk. Before you comment, she departs. Dad, are you the chieftain now? Alette asks. I could say I don't know. Guess I'll have to find out later. Or 3, it looks that way. I was wondering why your name changed from your other account. God, that violin. We just take a moment for that violin. So the soundtrack was written by Austin Wintory, but a lot of the voices you hear are influencers, specifically some of the more popular ones from around 2014. Peter Hollins is the male voice you usually hear when singing or chanting's happening. Maluka, which, if you don't know who Maluka is, she was the one who does that amazing Skyrim cover. And she does a lot of the vocals. And then the violin is Taylor Davis, who is a fantastic violinist. She does a lot of video game and anime covers. So, Austin got some good people to help with the soundtrack. In fact, I think they also did a cover for their own respective YouTube channels together. It was really good. I'll have to find it and share it out or something. I'm going to put, I guess I'll find out later. Your face. Oh, then that means, Alette says. You're both quiet for a moment while Alette unfurls the banner. Oddleif has been teaching me how to sew. She speaks pretty highly of you, Rook says. Can we read the part about Mom? You nod. On the banner has been sewn the story of the families who have lived in Skogir throughout the years, just as is done on every banner in every town. Now the name should make sense. I wish she were here, but I'm kinda glad she isn't, says Alette. The section of banner about your family is short, but Alette has been sewing in colorful designs. Why do you say that? She doesn't have to deal with all of this. Dredge, leaving home, and... Why didn't you stop those men from killing each other in the village? I mean, if it's okay to ask. This is a hard thing to say, I guess. I can either say it wasn't my decision to make, which is true. I didn't want blood on my hands, which I think by not acting, there's still blood on your hands. Or I could say it was the best of some bad options, which is also kind of true. I think I'm going to choose number 1, because it's the most consistent with why we chose number 3. Though, furiously, you were typing 4 after the fact. Deciding what happens to other people. I'm glad I'm not you, says Alette. I wouldn't know what to do. Neither would I, Alette. Neither would I. It's not exactly my calling either, says Rook. Yeah, I know. Dad, I think you're doing a good job. Thanks, Alette. Appreciate it. Respect. She hugs you. You spend the rest of your time together, sewing new verses into the banner. For better or worse, the story of Skogir is your burden now. Alrighty. I think I may stop here. This is a good stopping point. Oh, I can get to Frostfeather. How are you doing, Odd? Would it be Odd? I think it's Odd. I'm alright, says Oddleif. Not at first. Sometimes when a loved one dies, people say it doesn't sink in for a while. It sunk in for me right away. People tell me I'm a strong woman. It's funny. My father named me Oddleif before I was even born. He wanted a boy so badly. Strong woman. What does that even mean? So I could say I never cared for that expression. It means you're going to be okay. People look up to you. Or, I think, is the choice I would probably make if it was just me. But, chat, what do you say? I think that one you put in the chat, Elizabeth, is from the last one. I don't know, because again, I don't know what the delay is on this right now. Two, it means you're going to be okay. Yeah, could definitely do that. That's not being strong. That's just being. Succinctly put, Oddleif. I feel nothing about my husband dying. People think I'm strong. If I cry because my insides feel like they're on fire, I'm weak. Why does that feel so backwards? I'm sorry, Rook. It's been hard. You're not sure what to say. In the many years you've known the chieftain's wife, this is probably the most you've ever talked. You asked me to come find you? Yes, it's about the banner. I thought about it a long time. He asked me to give it to you, you know, if something happened. So it should be why me, your family, you should carry it. What would you have done? Or, huh. I think I'm going to choose number 2. Your family, you should carry it. You're right, I should, she responds. It should be mine. I could carry it, but I thought about why he named you. I get it. They won't follow a woman. Families would leave. Our banner would be divided. I could say, I think they would follow you. I would vouch for you. You're probably right. Or, you want me to put Okay. Look, it's not just about our small town. What happens the first time we need something from another clan? What happens when someone thinks they can take advantage of us? I think it has to happen. I think this is what has to happen. Baby, this is what it means to be a strong woman. I'll do my best. I rely on you, or... oh. Can't hear my roommate snoring through the wall anymore, so I wonder if I woke him up by talking loud. I think I'm going to choose number 1. I think this is what it means to be a strong woman. All I can think of right now is South Park. There's a character in South Park literally named Strong Woman. She looks sideways, eventually giving over a timid smile. I'm not sure if that's the dumbest thing I've heard, or the sweetest. Probably both. Listen, I know I dragged this out. The truth is, my husband and I could never have a child. I don't want our banner to end here. It'll be safe with you and Alette. I know you're going to take care of her. She puts her hand on your shoulder as she heads back to the camp. At a small split in the trail, a few fighters stop to speak with you, each carrying a single pack. We recognize this place, one man says. Spent several years around here with some kin. If they're still around, we have to warn them of what's coming. With luck, we'll find you in less than a week. So I can have these fighters go off. I can see them off with a little extra surprise. Remind everyone that they're free to do as they please. Ask them, do you think you'll survive out there on your own? Or tell them they're needed here. I think this is the soundtrack I have the signed copy from Austin Wintry. I think I'll see them off with extra supplies. I think I'll be benevolent. I've got 10 days of supplies. We set out. I think we had. That should be only a week away. We rested 3 days. So I should be coming up on Frostfeather. So I think if I send them out with some extra supplies, it's not gonna come back and bite me. If that's all you're taking, you may never make it If that's all you're taking, you may never make it, you say. Grabbing a few items from the supply wagon, you strap the additional provisions to their back. Search for family instead of food, you say with a smile. The men clasp wrists with you before departing. -8 fighters, -3 supplies. So only a day's worth of supplies. The game was a bit loud. How's that? Complaints of Raffenswarter's excessive drinking have resurfaced. This time, the man stumbled over some tent ropes, pulled the snagged canvas through a campfire, nearly setting a supply wagon aflame. Clansmen put out the fire on both the wagon and Raffenswarter's leg before leading him to you. I can punish him physically, ban him from camping near the others in the future, or this man drinks nothing but water from now on. Okay, much better. Good. I think I turned it up so we could hear the violin earlier, and I never turned it back down. I think I'm gonna choose this man drinks nothing but water from now on, or I could punish him physically. I don't think banning him from camping near others is gonna help though. Yeah, I'm gonna choose number 3. Raffenswarter groggily agrees, slurring his way through promises to quit being such a nuisance. Many onlookers snort or roll their eyes but go back to their business. Somehow, you doubt it'll be long before Raffenswarter manages to find another drink, whether you'll allow it or not. We're almost to Frostfeather. Dredge! Shouts a man from the back of the caravan. It's Raffenswarter, the unabashed drunk, staggering toward you, looking not entirely sober. He screams again, pointing to trees in the distance. Fear races through the caravan as fighters pull out their weapons. Scouts return with no sightings and furious men surround Raffenswarter. Okay, so I can banish the drunkard from your caravan, I can let my clansmen deliver justice, or I can ready myself against the dredge just in case. This is a boy cries wolf situation. I think I let the clansman deliver justice, but that would probably kill him. But then again, so would banishing the drunkard from the caravan. On the flip side, we could ready ourselves against the dredge. But if it turns out to be a boy cries wolf situation, I've done nothing again to stop Raffenswarter from causing trouble, which would cause morale to go down, which would cause the caravan to go slower. What to choose? What do you say, chat? Okay, be right back, so probably not happening then. I think I'm gonna let my clansmen deliver justice. Just let them just get it over with. And swift and brutal beating befalls Raffenswarter, one that leaves him begging for mercy. The next time he is offered mead, the man shies away in fear. As for the rest of the caravan, everyone seems pretty satisfied. We'll find out in a minute if the dredge were real.
Once a strong, thriving city, the walls of Frostfeather now just keep the howling winds at bay. With luck, they'll hold out against dredge as well.
You jostle through fallow crowds of sunken faces who appear as though they've been freezing in front of Frostfeather for days. The gates are closed. You come to a stop at the bottom of the hill. This is not looking good, says Rook. Why are there so many people in the fields? Alette asks. We can't stay outside in the open like this, Ivor puts in. Oddleif finds you amongst the many refugees. Rook, I just talked to some of the women here. Nobody is being led into the city. Why? Rook says, or asks. It's overrun with Varl from Blitzbacher, Greyhorn, and people from Bitra. All the nearby villages. The dredge are everywhere. And the chieftain of Frostfeller has locked himself in his great hall. That's when they close the gates. When the dredge come, these hills will turn red. Ivor says, we have to get in there. Okay, so I can say we're getting in the wall somehow. I want to know more about what's going on in there. Let's lay low for now and see what happens. Where else could we go? Or I don't know what to do. I feel like that would be me for reals in this situation. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I think we have to get in the wall somehow. But it probably wouldn't help to get more information. I want to know more about what's going on in there. I think I'm gonna choose one. We're getting in the walls somehow. I can get that gate open, Ivor says. Let's see if there are any other way. Let's see if there's any other way before we start breaking down gates, Oddleif says. I wasn't gonna break it. Just push really hard. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. This is a good place to stop if I remember correctly. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I think we're just going to make a series out of this, so we'll do the next one at some point this week, maybe next Sunday, if not before. Definitely recommend getting this game if you never played it before. The Banner Saga is fantastic and has one of the best stories in any tactical strategy combat game I've ever played. And again, the fact that everything you do matters, you can't go back on decisions you make, really helps sell this. Make this game better than it has any right to be. I mean, this is made by a very small team, and they were able to put out 3 games to tell the full story they wanted to tell, because the games they're making were so good that everyone wanted them on every platform. So definitely worth checking out if you were looking for something kind of chill but still incredibly engaging to play. Yep, we'll talk to